Hi everyone, in this video I'll be talking about some key concepts in gender studies. Well, of course there are a lot of key concepts. Like here, as you can see, 50 key concepts in gender studies, from androcentrism, like dichotomy, equality, gender segregation, and many more. But then in this video, I'll be only talking about some of them. The first one, body. The range of conceptions of the body present within gender studies can be grouped into three broadly defined categories: the body as nature, the body as socially constructed, and the body as embodiment. And here you can quote from Firestone that the analysis and elaborate inequality between women and men is based on biological differences in the body's reproductive functions. Okay, next one, dichotomist. Here you may refer to Oakley that argue the habit of thinking in dichotomies puts an embargo on both, sometimes the one, sometimes the other possibilities. So feminist writers are especially critical of dichotomist thinking about the tendency for the dominant element, so that associated with masculinity, while the subordinate element is associated with femininity. And domestic division of labor. So here, the domestic division of labor that is associated with female, then you can analyze this using Marxist theories. Feminists argue that what women do within the home, although unpaid, is work of labor. In other words, a form of productive activity like men's wage labor. So it means that domestic divisions of labor benefits capitalism. So of course you may elaborate the gender issues along with the Marxist theories. And then next, gender equality. So we can start with diversity theories. Question the assumption implicit in equality or difference, that equality and difference are mutually exclusive opposites. So for diversity theories, equality and difference are not incompatible. Right, and then gender itself. Again, Oakley pathfinding text, sex, gender, and society lays the ground for further exploration of the construction of gender, because she elaborates more on the exaggeration of gender differences and argue that the social efficacy of our present gender role centers around women's role as housewife and mother. That's the gender and society. And then again about gender, but this time the conception of gender from the radical one, Butler, that Butler argues further that sex and gender distinction suggest a radical discontinuity between sex, body, and culturally constructed genders. And then next, representation. Talking about gender representation refers to the Millet's classic sexual politics, where Millet argues that male superiority guarantees superior status in the male and inferior in the female. See, the male superiority guarantees superior status and inferior to the female. And next, the stereotype, gender stereotype. And here, an adequate understanding of stereotype must also include the idea that stereotypes are not only contained within an individual mind. So stereotype here, it means that thinking about a particular social group describe the typical picture. So stereotype not only happens in one's individual mind, but also it could be in social, collective level. And then violence, gender violence. Here, one of the examples, broader conceptualizations of the idea violence. So violence including the behavior from physical acts of murder and rape to verbal acts like sexualized and racialized abuse, including gender violence and more. It is men's violence against women that has especially been the concerns of feminist researchers now. There are some examples like Hetty analyzes masculinities and violence and their representations in media forms, including the cinema. And Body addresses the important question of cultural variations in definitions of violence towards women through study of female circumcision. Okay, that's it. Hopefully you can take away some useful insight, and thank you.